Good afternoon, everybody. Uneducated Economist here. I know how much you guys love it when I talk about lumber and what's going on in the lumber industry. And every Monday morning, I place an order for pressure treated lumber. Pretty much everything that we ran through the weekend as far as sales go, I try and fill in the empty bins, or they're not bins, they're racks, but the empty spaces with the units that we sold out of. And up until about 2.5, 3 months ago, ordering you could order as much as you want of any size. There was never any issue as far as getting supply in. But it started coming up as an issue a couple of months ago. We noticed that we were having problems getting certain pressure treated lumber in. It started off with like 4x4s, and it moved into some other items, some other sizes, and then it got really bad as far as being able to access this lumber. Now, if you've been following the lumber industry, there has been a lumber shortage taking place here in the United States. In fact, it's probably, not just isolated here, but all over. But there's been a lumber shortage here in the United States that we've been dealing with, and it's really affected the pressure treated market. Now, just to kind of give you an idea of what's happening there, is that during the lockdown, a lot of the mills and treatment companies out there kind of looked at things and said, okay, we better hold back on our inventory because we don't want to be sitting on a bunch of inventory if there's a lockdown and nobody's buying. And so that's what they did. The mills curtailed a bunch of development. The pressure treated companies dropped their inventory levels by a lot. And the lockdown pretty much stopped business within the United States here, especially when it came to the building industry. But then everybody's locked down at home and they get the stimulus check and they're like, well, if we're going to be locked down at home, let's make our surroundings better. Let's build fences to block our neighbors. Let's build new decks. Let's build, gazebos, raised garden beds. Let's remodel the house. Let's make our environment a little bit better. And then there was this huge demand for lumber at the same time that there was an inventory shortage that was done on purpose because they thought that nobody was going to be buying lumber, but it was quite the opposite that took place. So it wiped out inventory levels across the United States, and pressure treated companies are sitting in a very difficult position because like treated lumber during the summertime is a very popular commodity for building the decks, for building the gardens, for building the, gazebos and fences and stuff. A lot of pressure treated lumber you sell during the summertime, and with this huge demand and a major drop, trying to get that lumber, first of all, just trying to access the lumber from the mills has been difficult. But then there's also the treatment time that it takes in order to get these things, inventory level built up to a condition in which that you can supply everybody with it. So even though they have treated it, and even though they have some of the lumber on hand, accessing this lumber for stock has not been that easy. And we have been able to trickle in some projects, like if we, hey man, I got this project, I really need some of this 2x10 or whatever. They will release a little bit to you, but as far as like getting units of the stuff, it hasn't happened. And we got nailed hard. We missed out on a lot of deck packages simply because we could not get the framing lumber for it, like all the structural part of it before the decking goes down. We had a hell of a time trying to access all that stuff, and it really put a damper on a lot of projects this year. Every single week I call up and I said, okay, I need 2x8, 2x10, 2x12. What do you got? Can you send me anything? And for over a month now, the answer's always been no. I cannot send you anything. 2x6 decking without the, because pressure treated has little holes poked in it. They're called incisor marks, and so the chemical can get deeper into it. That's more rated for like a ground contact use. They also make a treated lumber that doesn't have that incisor marks, and that's generally referred to as decking or deck wood. We refer to it as just outdoor wood, but that's not the brand name of it. That was a brand name of stuff that used to exist a while back. So there's a lot of different names for this non-incised treated lumber, this decking, and we have not been able to access that at all for months. This decking. Today, when I placed my order, I was able to get one unit of 2x6 decking. I was able to get it in a 10-foot length. The 2x8, 2x10, and 2x12 were in very short supply, but I was able to get 2 units of 2x8, one 12-foot and one 16-foot unit. I was able to get 2x10, an 8-foot and a 16-foot unit, and I was able to get 2x12, and I believe I got that in a 8-foot and a 12-foot unit. And that was all that was available. Now I needed 16s and 20s and all the other lengths, but to fill in the bins because they're empty. The rack is, but those were the units I was able to get. Very surprising. Very surprising to me. This was the first time that they were like, okay, we can release some of this particular sizes for your stock. That it really shocked me, and I'm like, okay, so the inventory levels are starting to build, just like I was suspecting. I go and I take a look at the lumber future prices, and we're still hovering right around that $600 per thousand mark, which is still historically very high, but it's not at the 900 per thousand that we saw the September contracts close at. And really, the previous high before this current run up that we had was around 650. That was a couple of years ago. So really, we're under the all-time high that was created a couple of years ago, and we're very much under the recent all-time high. And I see these prices now, even though they're incredibly elevated and the inventory is still tight, we're going to see the retail prices probably stay elevated for some time as these inventory levels start to build back up. But it's definitely happening. We're seeing the inventory levels start to come in. I'm starting to find more lumber accessible that I couldn't find before. Prices are starting to come down. I'm calling it. That lumber shortage that we experienced, we have peaked out. We are definitely over the top of that height, and we're coming down the other side, and we're going to start seeing more lumber come in at a cheaper price. That is my prediction going into the new year. And I would imagine November, which seems to be the month that everybody is talking about being the month where everything goes back to normal. I mean, I don't know about normal for the entire economy, but definitely for the lumber industry. This is what everybody feels, and everybody is saying that come the new year, we will start seeing things more in a reasonable condition than we've experienced. But anyway, I wanted to give you guys that update because I know how much you guys, love these lumber updates. I know a lot of you are in the building industry, so it's really critical to kind of get this boots on the ground information as far as what's going on with these lumber prices. I know I talked to a framer who was like, man, I really want to start this house. And I told him, I said, man, if you could give it just 1 month, just 30 days, I bet you're going to save a bunch of lumber. I said, what can it hurt? I mean, if you can wait 30 days to start your house, I mean, you can buy the lumber now and pay a higher price. It may not drop in 30 days, but at least you can take that chance. I told him, I said, I don't see the prices going up from here. I think we have peaked out in prices. There could be a situation where, something comes up that causes the prices to continue to tick up. But as far as like going from $4.50 up to $8, I don't think we're going to see another move like that. We might go from this 8, I think we've got it at like 2x4 8s right now. We're selling at $8.63. I doubt we'll see $9. We could. It may happen. There's still a lot of tight inventory out there for a lot of suppliers out there, so they're going to keep those prices up. But I am pretty sure that we are peaked out on the retail prices. If they go up, they're just going to go up a very small amount. I feel that the pressure is going to be on the downward side, and it's probably going to start happening in the next 30 days. Probably 30 days from now is when we're going to see it. That's the feeling that I have. I have no any other analytic to tell you about that. It's just that gut feeling from being in the business. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it at that. Uneducated economist, you guys let me know.